Hi, this is Jordan from Recap Animation. All properties are owned by their respective companies. Please enjoy. Previously, we saw Alibaba successfully infiltrates the royal palace and goes against the Ku Empire's dungeon monsters, and after defeating them, he goes in to confront Ahmad. Ku Empire's 8th princess, Ren Kugyoku, also comes and hears Alibaba's surprising announcement. As Alibaba demands that Ahmad relinquish his right to rule, he proposes that Balbad will abolish the monarchy in favor of becoming a republic, surprising Kogyoku, Sinbad, and the rest of Balbad's people. While everyone cheers for Alibaba, Kasim and his fog troop arrive at the palace. Kasim reminds the people how they cannot forgive the nobility and the aristocrats since the dead cannot be brought back. Fueling their rage, Kasim has turned the people of Balbad against Alibaba and his group. With everything on the line, Alibaba has to stop Kasim. Kasim takes advantage of Alibaba's unwillingness to kill him, transforming into a giant black jinn, using Black Rook as explained by Ithnan. The black jinn starts bombarding the royal guards with a dark magic blast. Due to the blast, the building also breaks into 2 parts, almost falling on the soldier. But then, Morgiana saves his life and urges Alibaba to stop Kasim. When Kasim dives at Ahmad with his intent to kill him, Morgiana kicks Kasim down. Alibaba quickly cuts off Kasim's arm. Then Alibaba gathers Amon's flames to do another strike. In the meantime, Kasim is regrowing his left arm with the blood of the dead soldier and the Black Rook from the city. Ithnan thinks that Kasim can't die until Black Rook, made up of people's anger and hatred and has the power to turn the world dark, stops gathering around him. Morgiana runs towards Kasim to attack him, yet Kasim holds her in the air with his ability and sends her flying with the help of gravity magic. As Kasim powers up his attack, Sinbad stabs him in the back to manipulate his magic while urging Alibaba to strike Kasim down and saying that if he does not kill Kasim, this giant black jinn will kill everyone in Balbad. At the same time, the Black Rook seeps into Sinbad's veins, causing Sinbad to cough up blood. Concentrating his flames, Alibaba thrusts his sword into Kasim with all his might. Black bits repel Alibaba's sword. Seeing that he is being repelled, Alibaba asks Amon for more power. As a result, Amon's flames become more powerful, and then Alibaba penetrates the black jinn and sees half-unconscious Kasim. When Alibaba witnesses this, he hesitates, and Kasim sends him flying. Then Kasim throws Sinbad towards Alibaba, and at that moment, Morgiana grabs Sinbad. Sinbad explains to Alibaba that he has to put everything in one attack to defeat Kasim, while the black jinn manipulates his magic. When Alibaba cannot concentrate due to his emotions for Kasim, Barkak and Sapmad have the guards surround and hold off Kasim. They are concerned about their country and will not succumb to a monster. Sinbad gives Alibaba some of his Magioi, and then almost no Magioi is left in Sinbad. He could only put his hope in Alibaba. Then as Alibaba dives toward Kasim, Judah arrives. He then intercepts and knocks Alibaba away, making a cloud of smoke rise. With Judar back on the battlefield, blackbirds flying around and controlled by Ithnan explains to Judar about his increased powers and then tells him to finish off Alibaba. In the city, Jafar and Masrur are trying to save some citizens, while the bandit brothers are leaving the city ravaged by chaos. When hope is almost gone, someone sees a star in the sky. Aladdin soars towards the palace, using the power of the White Rook. Meanwhile, Judar takes control of Kasim by using his black magic, and then uses his ice spears to pin Sinbad to the wall. When he tries to interfere, with Judar magic, Kasim has sprouted multiple wings and fires several dark energy blasts at Morgiana and Alibaba. After Morgiana evades Kasim's attacks, Alibaba requests Morgiana to toss him so that he can deliver the final blow with all of his magic. She advises Alibaba not to do this act because the black jinn has now healed, and Judar also wants to kill Alibaba. Alibaba urges her to throw him up. She tosses Alibaba high in the air, and then Judar blasts him to the ground. Combining his ice magic with Kasim's gravity magic, Judar breaks Alibaba's sword. Alibaba, without losing hope, asks Morgiana to toss him one more time, recalling Alibaba's determination to always take responsibility for others and tries to help them without considering his own life. Aladdin arrives in a flash of light before Alibaba. Then Judar asks Aladdin to show his jinn, yet Aladdin explains that Ugo is no longer here. While remembering Ugo's last words, Aladdin uses his rook to materialize into Ugo's form to protect himself from Judar's attacks, which Judar considers just heat magic. magic. Aladdin admires Hugo for teaching him well and uses his har infigar to melt the ice-pinning Sinbad. He asks Morgiana to bring Sinbad to the city because some people want to meet him. Then he tells Ali Baba that he has no chance of defeating Judar alone as a country is consumed by Black Rook. Aladdin states that he needs Ali Baba's help, and when Ali Baba is pessimistic, Aladdin shows a bright arc to reveal that everyone's hope is still alive in a devastating country. As Aladdin gathers the white rook from the people of Balbad, a sign appears on his forehead. Ithnan realizes that Aladdin has acquired the wisdom of Solomon. Using the wisdom of Solomon, Aladdin absorbs the rook inside his body. White rook lies all over the surroundings. Aladdin explains to Ali Baba that he has to pierce Qasim with his sword. When Ali Baba is unsure because his sword is broke, Aladdin tells him their magic can work together. Then, Aladdin uses his har infigar magic, which changes into flames around him, and then all the flames are absorbed by Aman, who repairs Ali Baba's sword. Aladdin tells Ali Baba that he can only use heat magic right now, but with this, they can work together. As Judar rains ice spears down on them, Ali Baba manages to dodge them and stab Qasim. As Ali Baba attacks Qasim, it causes a fire back on him. Qasim absorbs Ali Baba after flames stab him. Aladdin uses his wisdom of Solomon, which emerges as sun rays, to tap into Judar, who collapses after remembering some of his dark past. Inside the Black Jinn, Ali Baba hears the sound of Aladdin, who tells him that Qasim created his copy from Rook and urges Ali Baba to save him from the darkness. Ali Baba speaks with Qasim, who says he has despised him since their first meeting. Qasim wonders why he is the only one stained by the darkness, while Ali Baba radiates light. The scene vanishes, and Judar bombards ice spears at Aladdin while he makes a shield of white rook around him. Qasim remarks that he had the blood of his worthless father flowing in his veins, while Ali Baba had his royal father's and mother's blood in him. Qasim states that everything is decided at birth. He will fight against his fate. Ali Baba then angrily explains that he has done many things he is ashamed of. The two power up their respective rooks and attack each other. Qasim slips in and knocks Ali Baba down. In Qasim's flashback, Ali Baba could also observe and see Mariam's last moments due to the pandemic. Later, the slums are burned to the ground. Then Ithnan arrives to assist them in fighting against their accursed fates and tells them it's all the fault of nobles and royalty. At present, as Qasim stabs Ali Baba in the chest with his black rook, some of Ali Baba's white rook flows inside Qasim. As a result, Qasim hears Ali Baba's words that shatter his blade. Ali Baba is afraid of considering the idea that they are different. He understands that there is as many differences as there are people. He wants to live happily with everyone. Then Qasim recalls their childhood days. He got to the point about accepting fate as it is. He should have accepted Ali Baba's words. Qasim realizes what he has done and that he can never be like Ali Baba. When Qasim cries, his world brightens. The Black Jinn begins to fall apart and White Rook emerges from the Black Jinn. Qasim returns to his normal self, but cannot remain like this. As Qasim is sucked towards the bright tunnel, he shares his memories of killing his father for having the idea of making Mariam a prostitute to get money for his alcohol. Qasim recalled that Ali Baba wanted to help him, but he refused, saying that they were different from each other. Ali Baba tries to grab Qasim's hand and yells out that they are friends. Then suddenly, White Rook originates from the palace, making a cloud and shatters Black Rook. In the palace, Ithnan quickly grabs Judar and retreats. Aladdin watches Ali Baba, holding and bawling over Qasim's dead body. Meanwhile, high in the skies, Masrur strikes Ithnan with his household vessel, then Jafar breaks Ithnan's barrier with his powers. While at the same time, as Ithnan falls, Sinbad powers up his magic to electrocute Ithnan in a powerful flash of lightning. Sinbad gets exhausted, and Jafar and Masrur support him and stand upright. Sinbad feels like only a doll has fallen. Deep in the sea, a snake swims from Ithnan's disemboweled head. Meanwhile, the men and women of Al-Faman discuss the Balbad incident, which will continue to cause trouble for all eternity. At the palace, Aladdin points out that the dead are always with them in their hearts and in the Rook's flow. Ali Baba's parents appear before him, and Aladdin tells everyone to reunite with their loved ones. Mariam whispers to Ali Baba, and she holds hands with Qasim. Then all the deceased deceased citizens fly towards the great river of Rook. Then Morgiana arrives and embraces both Aladdin and Ali Baba. After the fight, the Baalbad was destroyed. Citizens of Baalbad try hard to get back to their everyday lives. Some people take carts full of wood, others are building walls. Children are walking in the streets and playing. Morgiana distributes food to citizens. During the reconstruction of Baalbad, everyone is doing their best to help the citizens, while Ali Baba works closely with the representatives in the palace. Sinbad thinks that Ali Baba indulges himself in work so that he can forget the pains of his friend's loss. Ali Baba and Aladdin are standing outside talking about the time required to build Baalbad again. Ali Baba gets bitten by a snake until Barkak removes and throws the snake away. Barkak does not think the snake is poisonous. Meanwhile, the snake disappears with Black Rook shedding from its body. Then, a soldier informs them about the Ku Empire fleet approaching Baalbad. They see a colossal armada offshore. Sinbad states that the Ku Empire is here to control Baalbad due to the lack of government, and he tells Ali Baba to leave the country because he is at risk of being killed due to being seen as a threat. Ali Baba refuses, as he has promised Qasim and the people who died that he will take care of the country, and decides to fight the Ku Empire army. Sinbad knocks Ali Baba out. A few days later, Ali Baba wakes up in the ship's cabin. The lock is hanging at the door. As he goes outside, birds sing, and sun rays come down on seawater. He sees an island nearby and thinks it's not Baalbad. Then Jafar informs him that they had given him medicine to keep him asleep for the duration of the trip, and that they would be arriving in Sindria soon. While Sinbad is negotiating with Ku Empire as the head of the Seven Seas Alliance to save Baalbad and Ali Baba. Hearing this, Ali Baba helplessly gets on his knees. Several months later, on a bright day, Morgiana is seen sparring with Masrur. They hear the sound, which feels like returning of the king. The vast island appears with boats offshore and busy markets. The sound buzz from the palace, which announces the arrival of Sinbad. Sinbad was welcomed in the palace. Sinbad thanks Masrur for taking care of his island in his absence and asks about Ali Baba and his companions. Later, Sinbad debriefs the meeting with Ali Baba and Aladdin, where he reports to Ali Baba about his talk with Ku. He states that Baalbad has the right to become a republic, but only under the Ku Empire's control. He adds that he did what he could as the leader of the Seven Seas. Ali Baba thanks Sinbad for his help. Ali Baba says that he will continue fighting. Sinbad explains to him an organization called Al-Thayman, responsible for Baalbad's economic crisis. They have members all around the world. Sinbad has been fighting with them since he established Sindria. Afterwards, Sinbad tells them that he has 2 mentors that will help them improve and complete their magic. Then, a soldier arrives and informs them about a giant southern creature. Outside the southern creature, a roaring giant fish ravages the island. It expels water too. Trees break from their roots. People are excited about hunting, and Sindria's 8 generals arrive. Then Sinbad's general, Yamreha, flying on her magic stick with a black hat on her head, and Sharkan, a man with a sword and gray curly hair, take on the creature. While Yamreha binds the creature using magic water, Sharkan uses household magic to cut it and make a giant fillet for the citizens. Sinbad introduces Yamreha to Aladdin and Ali Baba. Suddenly, Aladdin jumps and rubs his face into Yamreha's ample bosom until Yamreha boils the water inside Aladdin's body. Then Sharkan arrives to get acquainted with Ali Baba. Kings tell Ali Baba that Sharkan will teach him sword art. Yamreha remarks that Ali Baba might catch Sharkan's stupidity, and the 2 generals start to argue. Yet Sinbad breaks them up. In the clear moonlight, King arranges a great festival. Flames high, beating on the drum with the palm of his hand to produce music, everyone relishing it at its peak. Citizens appreciate the king and the delicious dinner. During the celebration of Mahrajan, Ali Baba and Aladdin enjoy themselves. When Ali Baba wonders where Morgiana is, Morgiana reveals herself, and he remarks that she looks beautiful, causing Morgiana to turn around and blush. A sound echoes, and everyone starts to eat. Moments later, Sinbad introduces his 8 generals to Aladdin and his group. Sinbad asks Ali Baba to meet a princess coming here to receive an education. Jafar asks Sinbad if he has done anything terrible to Princess Kugyoku. Then Hinahoho and Draken ask Sinbad to start a family. Sinbad states that all his people are his family. Later, Ali Baba asks Morgiana if she is sure whether to stay with them or head back to her homeland. Morgiana replies that she wants to fight with them, Al-Thayman, to save the oppressed. She asks them to let her, which Aladdin accepts and tells her she is free to do whatever she wants. Then Morgiana dances when she is delighted with Aladdin and Ali Baba's answers. Stars twinkle in the sky. Out at sea, Akuru and Kugyoku are approaching Sindria. If you have made it to the end, thank you so much for watching this recap with us. If you like this recap and want to see more of it, click the like below and watch part 7 of the series.